So, I've kind of mentioned it over and over in time before, but I'm going on a vacation for about a month and I'm kind of scared about it. So, I'm not going to bore you guys with the details. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, you know I've talked about it around the 20th of this month. Uh, I will probably be already gone. I'm going to be going to Hawaii for my wife's dad's side family reunion. And I'm going to be going with the Osmo Pocket 3, taking the Sony Alpha 6700 to take photos, videos, and then use the Osmo Pocket 3 to probably do some vlogs and stuff. I got some gear that came in yesterday and the rest of the week kind of coming in, trickling in for traveling to be able to like get a POV shot with the Osmo Pocket 3 like around my neck and stuff. And packing bags and everything and just going with my son and all that stuff. He's around too, so that's going to be a little bit difficult to fly, I guess, in general. Just if you ever flew with kids or young infants and kids and toddlers and stuff, you probably already know, especially with the flight taking up to 8 hours to go there and 8 hours to come back. I'm dreading that process, to be honest, because going in airports anyways have always been frustrating. Even when I was in the military, having to fly all the way to Afghanistan, having to fly all the way to Korea, and you'd fly to Germany and fly throughout Europe and stuff like that, take long bus rides and stuff throughout the United States. When I was touring, while I was in the Army on the US Army Soldier Show, I've never really been too keen on traveling so much after doing all that stuff, because that was in the span of like 2 years. And especially with the Soldier Show, that was like TDY. So I was like, there's some days we would get there in the morning and then late at night before 12 at midnight or wherever, we're already packed up and moving to another place. And it's just constant traveling and stuff. I got over it. That's one reason why I'm not like really like a big on food and stuff anymore, because I had to eat at so many different restaurants, so many different culture foods, going to obviously other I would say other completely other continents and stuff, in some instances. So I'm just not really a food person anymore. It's just kind of been doled down to it's nourishment, it's a must have, a necessity for me to live, but I'm just not a food person. And it's kind of like a cultural clash with my wife being Hawaiian and being from Hawaii and stuff. And the family and the culture is kind of different. Like my mom was from Bahamas, so I know about like the island stuff and tendencies and everything, but it's just I'm not really a big family person. I'm somebody who likes to be just left alone, be an introvert, doing this stuff as far as content creation, streaming and stuff goes, or just chilling at home, watching, TV, watching YouTube, whatever, what I'm saying, have my son next to me. He's watching his tablet or playing with his toys or something like that, just small, immediate family. That's it. I'm not somebody who goes to family reunions or anything like that. I do not go out and hang out and party and stuff. Even when I was a little bit younger and it was like the clubbing thing, I would go out and dance, because if you guys know, I'm a hip hop dancer. So I would go out to a club and dance for a bit or wherever. But before it hit like midnight or wherever, I was already going home, because like the crappy songs would start playing or wherever, because they're ready to close at 2 or 3. And it's just like, there was no reason for me to be out and around people. And I just never really been comfortable in large crowds or being around people, ever since my deployment. And I've been told multiple times it's because my hypervigilance. It's also my personal traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. It's not post-traumatic stress. It's personal traumatic stress because of what have happened to me in Afghanistan. I've talked about it numerous times here on the channel. Little snippets of what I experienced while I was deployed and everything. And it's just like, from what I understand, my fight or flight response is always in the fight instead of flight. And I've just always been hyper vigilant and aware. And I would say more overly aggressive and mad all the time. That's why I've been put back, and I mentioned it before. I've been put back on my old medication, which is called lithium. I used to be on it while I was in, but my doctor now is telling me that we're potentially going to up the dosage, which unfortunately I wasn't able to do that appointment and talk about the stuff and take the steps and everything before I left for my vacation. So I'm going there pretty much under medded, and I don't have anything to this date for my PTSD. And the lithium, or the medicine I'm on, is for my bipolar type 2 to help with mood swings, but nothing's going to help me with being mad or angry. And it makes me a little bit worried, to be honest, to be around other human beings or people who are so close. I don't want to say like up in your business, but be so close and so talkative and so family oriented and want to hang out and mingle among each other, where it's like I want my personal space, leave me the f alone. Like that's the type of person I am. And it's like I have like hats that say stuff or whatever, warn people that I'm a veteran, all this stuff. And it's like I can't even take the proper clothes I want because I want to travel as a minimalist because of my camera gear and all that stuff. And most of the stuff I wear is hoodies, you know what I'm saying, around the house, lounge wear, stuff like that. I don't really have too many like t-shirts and stuff. So like my outfits are limited. I'm only going to be able to bring like two pairs of shoes and stuff like that. Cause again, it's mostly focused on bringing the camera gear, making memories with my son, family, all that stuff. I care more so about getting photos and videos and hanging out with them and all this stuff. I don't care about like being dripped out, you know what I'm saying, all the time. And it's like, when I'm looking at that aspect, that's pretty cool. But it's like now that I got the Fine headset for noise cancellation, that's gonna help. And I did get me like a little retro handheld thing, where it was like $60 on Amazon. Maybe I'll do a review on it. But I found a channel and it said if you want a decent one at below $100, this is the one I would recommend. And like these people know life this stuff, so and they went through technical specs and everything, so it seemed like they knew what they were talking about. So I went ahead and picked one up. But that's coming in like the next 2 hours or something like that, supposedly. So it's like getting all this stuff ready. It's just I'm really dreading the airport process because I hate it, and it always brings out a bad side of me, because anybody who ever flew, you already know how it is. And then the temperatures across the board everywhere you go has been super high. Like I think the day we're leaving, it's going to be like dang near 90 degrees or something like that where we're at. And I'm not even sure it's still on the time of day we're leaving. So it's like ugh. And then going through the frustration. Just last time we went to Hawaii, before like I think 2022 it was or something like that. We got to we had to jump through two different airports or wherever on the way there, and then on the way back we only had to stop at one, thank God, or two, thank God, because the second one we just flew right into the airport right here. But the problem is that when we got there, our gate was supposed to be next to where we got off, and then they said nope, our flight was canceled. And then out of nowhere, it was like on the board, it said it was on the gate at the other side of the airport. So we went all the way over there. And by the time we got there, we literally walked up to there. It said, no, our flight was actually going to the gate that we got out of from. So we had to walk all the way back. And mind you, this is a massive airport. It's not one of those smaller ones. This is one of those more popular ones. So we basically got there, and luckily, when we were getting there, it kind of got like delayed a little bit. So we got there in time, but like it was packed. And mind you, this was not during a holiday season either. So it's like sitting there in a corner in the airport because there's no chairs. There's barely any floor room to pretty much sit and have stuff, because there's so many people getting off planes, getting on planes, walking around and stuff like that. It's like, when can you find like a convenience of sitting down somewhere? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, the whole I don't know how people do it. You know what I'm saying? The people that do it for a living and stuff, maybe because your job is really comfy and you get like paid a lot. But I don't want to be like that. It's like me, it's like a ticking time bomb being stuck into a sardine can. And I just don't like that, because my whole problem is that there's no context or pre-notion to anybody to know that, hey, this person is mentally unstable. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do to convey this to people that I'm mentally unhinged. My doctor that prescribed me the medicine, because I talked to him and stuff, they said, oh, you don't seem like you're insane or anything. There's nothing wrong. But I kind of tell people that I'm calmly insane. It's just because I've been dealing with this since like going through the motions of dealing with this since like 2010, 2011, that I have been able to put on a mask. Let's go ahead and put it that way. A lot of people probably can't even tell that I have mental issues from my videos and stuff. They might just be like, oh, he's just another grumpy, YouTube tech reviewer or something like that. And it's like, no, I am not okay. I would say 99% of the time, and every day, I'm not okay. I deal with a lot of complicated thoughts to myself and to others every single day. It's just something that I deal with. I wake up and I deal with it. I sleep and dream about it. I have sleep paralysis, nightmares, waking up drenched in sweat and stuff like that, constant showers, constantly having to change shirts and stuff. This is something I deal with, you know what I'm saying? And I just try to put on a brave face for my wife and stuff, and trying to like, she's gotten to the point to where she's like, you don't even, sometimes she's told me in the past, you don't even seem like you have mental issues or wherever. And there was points in time she thought I was making it up, because I'm able to just grin and bear it. And there's times where, the mask cracks, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it leaks out and it's hard to uh, keep it in. So when I'm surrounded by people, it's like I want to obviously be respectful to my wife's family. I want to be respectful to strangers, friends, whatever of hers and stuff. And it's like, how do I tell people to like leave me alone in the most polite way? And it's like, I'm in this position where I can't. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how. That's why I said I'm absolutely terrified of staying this long. Because even when I was back in the military, even when I went to visit my family and stuff, like I mentioned before, I'm not a family man. I stayed for 4 days. You know what I'm saying? And my mom and dad had medical issues and stuff like that. Pretty much all my life that I have had, decent memory of, because I have memory issues too. I was supposed to have a neuropsychological exam. It's supposed to do brain scans and like do all this intricate stuff, and it's like a 6 to 8 hour test where I have to sit down pretty much still for that long. I was supposed to have that done before I left. That's not happening either because my memory is getting worse and worse. I'm losing a lot of parts of it and stuff, and I'm forgetting things and everything, and I don't want to delve too much into that, but just know it's very difficult. My wife could be talking to me and I just completely just blank out, or I don't want to say have a flashback, but just have memories and stuff and just randomly remember things. And she could tell me to do something, and then like 2 minutes later I forget about it. But she would be like, how can you do this stuff? You know what I'm saying? And then I think it's just because this is practice. It just kind of like ingrained into me, because I've been doing content creation since like 2013, 14-ish, or 2014. You know what I'm saying? And I've always dealt with computers and stuff like that. Even when I was in high school and stuff with computer class, I was always, gifted in that sense, as far as like dealing with 3D programs and stuff where nobody could pick up on it. I've always been good with my hands working and doing stuff or whatever, but I've never been book smart. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something that I guess I picked up, and I'm just my superpower, I guess you could say. But yeah, there's a lot been going on behind the scenes, and that's why I said I'm very scared. I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, I don't want to be disrespectful to my wife and her family, but it's hard to be around people that just they don't know, whether it's the lack of knowledge or the lack of being around people who have mental issues, and trying to explain to people who've never really understood it. Some people just don't believe that mental issues have that are our actual thing, that we're just making up stuff. And it's like I've been around people who I've been in the military with who had to reclass from like 88 mics and stuff like that, who got blown up by IEDs, who've been in firefights. They describe everything. You know what I'm saying? They say it took 5 minutes in the reports or whatever, but it felt like it was 2 hours long. The people who jump at fireworks and duck under cars and stuff like that at just loud noises and everything. And I don't even do good at fireworks. And I had a rocket land outside my B hut. You know what I'm saying? Like 4th of July and New Year's and stuff like that. Just terrible timing for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I was helping my wife get my son in the car, and somebody like banged a car door or something like that. And I jumped, and I was like, and I looked, and I was like, dang, that hasn't happened. Obviously 4th of July happened, but it's like every now and then it happens. It's just, there's nothing I can do about it. You know what I'm saying? So when people tell me like, people are making this up, it's just kind of weird to me. It's like, no, people don't make this up. You know what I'm saying? You can have PTSD or trauma from a car crash. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's just weird to me. And like I said, I don't think people know. And there's obviously different levels and severities, and I'm not saying somebody's trauma or mental illness is worse than others. But it's just like, for me, like I said, being around crowds, being around people, not having this safe space. This is why I kind of have this safe space to be able to sit here. And there's been times where I could be recording a video or live streaming, but I've literally sat in this room for like 2 hours with not really doing anything, not even watching like YouTube or anything on my computer, and I've just sat here, and I've just did breathing exercises, and I just chilled, because I couldn't deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it comes like that. And like I said, trying to talk to my wife about it, she don't really understand. Like, of course she has her own issues that she's going with, having to try to somewhat provide for the family and everything. Because obviously I'm 100% disabled. My income is stationary. Like I can't increase it and stuff like that. And this is like the only stuff I can do. So that's why I push so much to try to do these reviews and all that stuff. Because yeah, I'm monetized now, and I can make a little bit of money off of it, especially if people use the affiliate links and all that stuff. And that's why, like, I've sat there and contemplated, like, before, when I was almost monetized, before we hit 1,000 subs, and I was like, man, I should really just start doing what everybody else does. You know what I'm saying? Just reads a script. And I've incorporated scripts a little bit, but I was like, I should start reading scripts and just, you know, do what everybody else does. Don't give personal thoughts and opinions, you know what I'm saying? Just give the data and that's it. Like, don't bash companies, only praise them, bow down to them and stuff like that. So that way I can get more views and more companies wanting to work and, work with so many different brands. But it's like, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy the way I'm doing my stuff or wherever. Like I said, I've started incorporating a little bit of scripts or wherever to my videos as of late to try to keep them a little bit structured and maybe condense them a little bit more. But, overall, I like the way I do my stuff, and I like being myself because, like I've said before, it's really hard. That's why some of the videos still, you can see me go off script looking somewhere else, or, keeping unscripted stuff in the video and stuff, because I have mental issues. That's just me. I just want to be 100% transparent and be me. You know what I'm saying? If that makes me argumentative or, conflicts with people and stuff like that, people don't like it is what it is. I've taken it. I've had people who are veterans who have mental traumas and issues and stuff look at me and be like, how can you have any mental issues? You know what I'm saying? I went through worse stuff than you. And it's like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate your service as well. I appreciate what you went through. I know it was difficult and stuff like that. I'm not downplaying anything that you went through, but it doesn't mean I don't have anything wrong with me as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I understand people are not going to like me. People are not going to like what I say. People are going to dislike the videos and stuff like that. They're going to try to argue with me in comments and everything. And it's fine. I like, sometimes I try to correct people, but the best I can do is just be like, okay, I have mental issues. I'm not going to, reach out to them or even contact or talk to them wherever, unless I'm in one of my good moods. Then I'll go ahead and try to talk. But some people are just, it's like that we weren't raised properly, I guess the best way to be put, when you can take that in any kind of context you want. But yeah, it's just like, what do I do now as far as doing reviews and stuff and going forward? And it's like, when I get back, will I even really know how to do this anymore, as far as like recording videos and or working with companies and stuff like that? And like I said, I'm gonna try to get as much content as I can while I'm there, like videotaping and everything. But it just really sucks, like, how many people would dream to go to Hawaii, or, even try to move to Utah like we're trying to do next year and stuff like that. Like, so many people would love these opportunities, and it's like, I can't even enjoy them with my wife or my son and be in these awesome places because I'm an introvert and I have mental issues. I'm damaged. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it really does suck. And it's like, I want to, be there for my family, want to like do the best I can. But at the end of the day, it's like, how? It's like, how can I, um, when this is something I live with for the rest of my life and it just never goes away? Yeah. But yeah, I know this is kind of a long video, longer than I expected to be, but I just kind of essentially wanted to tell you guys that I'm leaving for a whole entire month, and just bear with me for the videos. And I do apologize. My wife just called me and I forgot what I was on, but yeah, I'm just kind of nervous about going, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that I'm gonna be gone for a month. I'm sorry for ending on a sad note, I feel like, but yeah, just want to let you guys know what was going on and why there probably won't be any uploads for me for doing product reviews or anything like that for a while. But I felt like I should tell you guys that. I thought about doing a video on like all the stuff that I'm taking with me as far as like stuff like that, but I feel like I could probably do that there while I'm in Hawaii, or when I come back and do kind of like a video about it. I was supposed to do that when I went to go visit my family, as well as going to visit her family in Hawaii, went back in like 2022. I still have that footage lying around somewhere, but I never used it. So this time around though, I'm going to try to do a little bit more vlogging, a little bit more stuff. Just to kind of keep my mind off things and be able to do something. And then on top of that, like I said, got the headphones and got the little gaming console. So I should be good, hopefully. So, just pray for me. Hopefully everything goes smoothly being there and I can enjoy my time. But it's really hard. It's just really hard. Also, I want to say thank you guys so much for the support on the videos and everything. We're almost at 1,700 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. And again, I keep saying it, and I know it sounds so tropey. So many people say it, but didn't think I would even be at this point. You know what I'm saying? Working with these brands that I have worked with, that I have reached out to, and they have reached back, as well as reaching the point with the audience and the viewership and everything. It's just, it's, it's, it's surreal. You know what I mean? It's kind of just shocking, to be honest, that anybody wants to even see me or wants to hear what I have to say. But with all that being said, y'all take care. Have a squid-tastic day. God bless you and yours. And deuces, everybody. Much love.